Hello, welcome to Dundrol's podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing Dragons of Autumn and Twilight, Dragonlance Chronicles, Volume 1, written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, who is a dude, by the way. This is a Dungeons and Dragons book. This originally came out in 1984. This edition, I think, is from 2000. Alright, this is published by Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast, right? This goes for $8 US, 11 Canadian. It's 444 pages. It's like 444 pages, right? And this is considered like a cult classic of D&D for Dungeons and Dragons novels. This book was so popular they made a movie, an animated film, in the 2000s where Kiefer Sutherland and Lucy Lawless voiced two of the characters, and the guy from I think his name is Michael Rosenbaum or whatever, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville, did the voice of this character here, Tanis, half elven, right? Or Tenthalis, his elven name. So this book is basically about these 8 travelers, which are Tanis, half elven, who's half man, half elf, who's like the leader of the group, who's like the second oldest of the group. He's like 100 years old. You have Flint Fireforge, who is the dwarf warrior, who's like the oldest of the group, is like 144, I think. You have the twin brothers, Karaman, who's a heavy warrior, pretty much, and his brother, Rassilin, who is the mage of the group, who's probably my favorite character in the book, and he was voiced by Kiefer Sutherland in the movie, right? You have the Kender, which is basically like a halfling kind of character, a hobbit kind of like a character, who is Taz Burfoot, Tasselhoff Burfoot. You have Sturm the knight, who looks like he's 40 but is like 29 years old, and you have like the 2 barbarians, Riverwind, and Goldmoon, which that's Goldmoon there. And what happens in the book is the book starts off with these group of characters called the Companions, led by Tanis Half Elven, who in the last 5 years have separated and gone their own ways to go looking for the old gods, the ancient gods, right? Because there was like a cataclysm, and the world had fallen, and like the old gods went missing, right? And since then, there have been no clerics with the ability to heal, right? So they go looking for signs of the old gods. So, and they go to meet back in the town that they live in Solace, which has these like huge trees with tree houses, right? Which you can kind of see them in the background, right? And while they're there, they meet a woman with this staff and her barbarian boyfriend, who get accosted by the mayor of their town, who accidentally in a fight gets burned alive but gets healed by her scepter, right? Which proves that she is a cleric of the old gods, right? So our group of characters, she's being hunted, right? And our group of characters join forces with her and go on this journey where they find out that there's this army of dragon men called the Dragonians, led by dragons and evil clerics who are trying to destroy any remnants of the old gods that have the power of true healing, and conquer the world of Kryn, which is the setting here, the Dragonlance setting, right? So I really enjoyed this book. There's if you're a fan of old D&D quest quest books, which just started the trend, I guess. You'll probably enjoy this book. There's lots of action, lots of humor. The action gets pretty gory, and the action is actually well written, and it's easy to understand what's going on, right? And there's some epic battles here and there, and the magic system is pretty much true to like the D&D setting, right? Where our mage characters have to memorize spells in their spell book and can only use them like once a day, right? like in wizardry and Ultima, right? Um, my a couple problems I have with the book is character descriptions change throughout the book, right? Like Caraman, who's like the dumb brother of Rasslin, even though they're twins. Uh, he's first described as wearing ringmail. Then it changes to plate mail, and then at one point he's wearing like uh, uh, what was it called? Like horned armor, spiked armor, and then there was no like description of like where he got that armor. It was like they kept changing the descriptions, right? Which was annoying. Which apparently this was Margaret Weiss's first book, right? Because like Tracy Hickman, who was a game developer working for TSR, went to her to write the book, right? Um, yeah, because this was the tie-in to the pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons tabletop RPG for a new D&D setting, which was Dragonlance, right? Um, yeah. Other than that, I did enjoy the book, but like there was some things in the book I didn't like how they kept hassling my boy Rasslin, acting like he was an evil sorcerer and he was going to betray them. For I don't want to swear, but like there was literally a point where they get captured by an evil dragon, and Rasslin was being held hostage, right? He was going to sacrifice himself he was going to sacrifice himself to save his friends, right? He ended up not having to, but like then after that they still like don't trust him. It's like, bitch, you ingrates, he almost died for you assholes, and you still don't trust my boy. And like, because they hint the chapters, like lots of chapters here. The chapters kind of spoil stuff that's going to happen in the book, so they hint that there's like a traitor, and they keep looking at Rasslin, and it's like, bitch, please. He almost died for you assholes. Oh my god. So that annoyed me. Also, because this book is written by a woman, of course there has to be love triangles and a wedding, right? To me it's a little dumb to introduce a love triangle when one of the people in said love triangle isn't even in the book. She's just mentioned, right? Which is the swordswoman Kitiara, which I don't even remember from the movie. I don't think she was in the movie. Tanis has a thing for Kitiara, who is like the half sister of Karaman and Rasen. He also has a thing for this elf maiden Lorana, who cucks him at the end of the book. Like he gets cucked in the movie too by this old man. And it was like, because like one of the reasons why he didn't like hook up with Lorana, even though he loves her, she was like his first love, because he knew that her elven parents wouldn't agree to their relationship, even though he's half elven. Um, but he gets cucked by an old man at the book who's human, and it's not even an elf, and it's like, what the fuck? Poor Tanis, man. Oh my god. But yeah, other than that, I enjoyed the book, but like it has its problems. 6.5 out of 10, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's worth checking out. especially if you like D&D novels. This is probably out of the D&D novels I've read, this is probably the best one. Then again, I haven't read a lot of D&D novels, but yeah, this is like the best one I've read so far. All right, that's it for this review, guys. Later tonight, I'm gonna post my book haul, and I also picked up some graphic novels. So if you're a comic book fan, make sure to check that out. For the next book review, we're going to be changing it up. We're going to be reviewing a Japanese dark fantasy novel, Demon City Shinjuku, by Hideyuki Kikuchi, who is the author of Vampire Hunter D. And there's an awesome anime film of this book. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Alright, guys.